I've written my speech, but I don't know what tone of voice to use. This is a question I received on one of my videos, and I'm about to address it. Now, the tone of voice is a very crucial part of public speaking. It matters what tone you have, or what tone you use, and its variation makes your speech not boring. In fact, the tone of your voice can change the entire message of your speech. Now, what tone of voice should we use? Well, first off, let's start off with some ground rules. Don't be too loud and don't be too quiet. Now, when you're too loud, your voice will literally just be irritating the audience. And this is a mistake I made often when I was still at the start of my public speaking journey. Make sure you're speaking audibly, but you're not shouting. Don't shout at your audience. Speak from the chest and not from the throat. All right? You have to make sure your voice is coming from the diaphragm. And actually, in fact, Dale Carnegie actually involved a lot of breathing exercise. In fact, in the book, I had a book for public speaking, and there were a lot of breathing exercises in there. And they were meant to actually improve your voice projection. But never also be too quiet. Make sure that you are audible. If people can't hear you, no matter how good of a speech you make or say, it will not help because they will not be able to hear your ideas. Even in public speaking competitions, when someone speaks too softly, no one can hear them. Unless you have a mic, of which that's a different issue. But even when you have a mic, make sure you speak audibly. Don't speak too loud. Don't scream into a mic. But also, don't speak too softly. You have to practice your tone of voice. This answer can only be gotten by trial and error. Now, that's the first thing. That's voice projection. Now, tone of voice. We need to make sure that our tone of voice goes hand in hand with whatever we're saying. When a person is talking about a time when they were happy, they were talking about something that excites them, make your tone of voice a little higher. Show that you're excited about what you're talking about. All right? You make your tone of voice, you speak a little faster. Don't speak too fast. Make sure you pronounce your words properly. But speak a little faster when you're talking about a time when you're excited, depending on the content of your speech. Now, if you're talking about a time of sadness, you slow down. You lower your voice. When you're talking about serious matters, you lower your voice. You slow down and you speak with more authority and you speak with a grave voice. Now, basically, what am I saying here? I'm saying that your content dictates the tone of your voice. And an entire speech won't only have one tone. It'll be changing. The tone will change depending on what you're speaking about. Just keep that in mind. But tone of voice does take practice. You have to take practice. You have to practice changing that tone of voice. Otherwise, if you speak at the same tone the whole speech, it'll be boring. It'll be monotonous. Another tip is make sure to emphasize certain points that you want to make by changing the tone of your voice. So let's say, for instance, I've been speaking like this the whole time, and then I want to get into something serious. I change my tone. That little variation makes people listen more to the statement that I'll be saying, the part where your voice changes. People pay attention to that, and hence it influences your message. Later on, we will be speaking about the speed, because speed goes hand in hand with the tone of voice. But for now, that's all you need to know about tone of voice. I will upload another video explaining in more detail about this tone of voice. It's a very, very interesting part of public speaking.